Hey, what's happening, guys? Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. It's Friday. The weekend is here. Today is Friday, February 24th, 2023. Not a ton of exciting news overnight, and I got to apologize. My notes are a little bit scrambled. I play in a sand volleyball league on Thursday night, so I had volleyball till late last night, and I got a buddy who flew into town. And so I picked him up around 12:30. So I didn't have a ton of time to get my notes together. It's early Friday morning here. But in today's video, we're going to be covering the news. Before we get started, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, QuickFixSynthetic.com. If you find yourself needing to pass a drug test, check out QuickFixSynthetic.com. They have a synthetic urine kit. Comes with synthetic urine in a bottle, temperature gauge, heat pack. Makes it super easy to pass a drug test. If you're trying to get a job at a place like Amazon where they do mouth swab or saliva tests, they got a mouthwash for that. You got to pass a hair follicle test. They got a shampoo for that. They also have cleansing drinks and urine spiking agents as well. They offer fast shipping and 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Link in the description box below. Check them out. Without further ado, let's get into the news. Yesterday, the Dow finished up 108 points. NASDAQ finished up 0.18%. S&P 500 finished up 0.53%. And most top cryptos were trading up maybe 0.5% to 8%. Nothing too crazy there. Before we kind of really jump into the news from the past 24, 48 hours, let's talk a little bit about AI art. Obviously, ChatGPT, AI everything has been all the rage. We talked yesterday about how Bing has introduced AI into their all-new Microsoft Bing Edge app. If you guys have played around with it, let me know what you guys thought about it. We've also heard that they're going to be implementing ChatGPT or AI into Skype to where groups or individuals can ask questions and get answers. Have any of you guys played with any of the AI art tools? You know, I've played with a number of them over the past couple months. Most were pretty underwhelming. One thing that I've noticed that they can't get right is like hands are always wrong. If you've ever tried to use some of these AI tools to create logos, if there are any words in the logos, they don't turn out too good. I was playing around creating a logo for a client yesterday and was using, I believe it's called Dolly, which is the AI art version of ChatGPT. And it actually spit out some pretty cool logos. Some of the other ones I've played with recently have been Midjourney. Midjourney's a little bit more complicated to use, but that one's pretty cool as well. But let me know if you guys have been playing around with any of these AI art tools. Also, let me know if any of you guys are using ChatGPT to write blogs, to write social media, headlines or descriptions, to write descriptions for YouTube videos, or even to write product descriptions for your websites. I've played around. There's a number of tools that can detect whether content was written by an AI. And I've played around with some of these tools. They're pretty accurate. They can almost always tell when something was written by AI. For that reason, I have not really used ChatGPT to write product descriptions or do anything on like main websites of mine or clients, because I'm worried, right now Google doesn't seem to care. Right now we got CNET and creditcards.com and a Points Guy and a number of affiliate blogs who are writing a lot of their content with AI and making good money and still ranking well. But I worry 6 months, a year and a half down the road, Google's going to start cracking down on content written by AI, and then I'm going to have to go clean up all these blogs, clean up all these product descriptions. So I really haven't used it, but we are seeing more and more of these platforms. Shopify has an AI tool now. I noticed later the social media scheduling app has an AI tool that you can plug in a couple keywords and it'll write your Instagram descriptions for you. And I think Wix recently rolled out an AI as well. But let me know what your guys' experience with AI has been, if you guys are using it. First story of the day. Toyota accepts a union demand for the biggest wage hike in 2 decades. A couple weeks back, we talked about UPS is currently renegotiating their contract as well. They want higher wages. One thing we got to keep in mind, the Fed does not want wages increasing. The Fed does not want a hot jobs market. Jobs market recently came out hot. CPI and PPI came out hot. But what the Fed doesn't want is a wage hike spiral where, inflation goes up, so people ask for more money, or people demand more money. Employers give people more money. Now everybody has more money to go out and spend, which drives prices up further. Inflation gets worse. People want more money. People go back to their bosses, go back to their companies, want another raise. And so I just thought this Toyota article was interesting. We also talked about the UPS one from a couple weeks ago. Next story of the day, a recent article found that men who lift heavy objects at work have higher testosterone levels and higher sperm counts. We've been hearing about how testosterone levels have been falling. Our testosterone levels compared to our grandparents is much lower. why is that? Microplastics, forever chemicals in our food, cooking with Teflon pans, sedentary lifestyles. So it's kind of interesting, and it kind of confirms that when we hear that people who lift heavy objects at work have higher testosterone levels and better fertility levels. I also saw, I just thought this was kind of funny. Another study came out yesterday that found that men who drink Coca-Cola, actually, I don't think it was men who drink Coca-Cola. I think in a study of mice or rats, they found that mice or rats who drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi have higher testosterone levels. I thought that was kind of crazy, right? We kind of blame falling testosterone levels and sperm counts on a lot of the garbage food we're eating, and then Coca-Cola and Pepsi, two of the most garbage foods out there, at least according to this mice study. Shows that it's actually boosting testosterone levels. Kind of weird. Although, sometimes unhealthy things do boost test levels. I know people who smoke tend to have higher testosterone levels as well. I had notes about this. I kind of misplaced my notes and kind of started a fresh sheet of notes for today's video. So we'll see what I can remember from this. But SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, had 12 more counts added to his charges yesterday. I believe a lot of the counts had to do with manipulating elections or illegal campaign funding. Internal emails showed that SBF and his crew were disguising political donations to go beyond the limits. And there was one internal email where one of his co-founders was talking about, they were trying to find an LGBTQ cause to donate to, and the co-founder was quoted as saying to SBF, you're going to have to donate to a bunch of woke shit. So, obviously they were kind of trying to get politicians in their pocket, be looked favorably upon by the public. But SBF has had 12 more charges added. So I think a couple weeks ago I talked about how Jeff Bezos was looking to sell the Washington Post, and he was potentially looking to buy the Washington Commanders, the football team, formerly the Washington football team, and prior to that, the Washington Redskins. Obviously, the name changed a couple years ago. We talked in a video yesterday about how there's calls on the Kansas City Chiefs to change their name to something more politically correct. But a few weeks back we mentioned that. Well, it's coming out now that Jeff Bezos has hired a firm called Allen & Company who helps rich people buy sports teams. And it's also being reported that Jeff Bezos may be buying the Washington Commanders in partnership with rapper Jay-Z. Next story, Bloomberg. Millions of Americans are missing since the Mexican beer cough. Where did they go? Even the experts don't really seem to know where everybody disappeared from the labor market. We talked in recent months about all the young people, 18 to 54, prime age working males, a significant percentage of them. My car's like rattling, are sitting out of the labor market. 2.1 million people retired early. Either they didn't want to get the things in their arm, they didn't want to work remotely, they just didn't want to have to deal with all the headaches. This beer cough thing is a mess. I'll just retire. Economists are confused, and many of these jobs never came back. We talked about how Manhattan is losing $12 billion a year. With people working from home, right? Like people aren't frequenting the barber shops and the nail salons and the bars and restaurants and coffee shops and cafes. So a lot of people who were working those jobs, probably had to go find other jobs or just are still sitting out of the workforce. We talked about the storm sweeping the country. Here in Chicago, we haven't gotten it too bad. Past couple days have been pretty gloomy, pretty overcast, pretty rainy. I believe I saw an article that said LA had a rare blizzard warning. I had a buddy who was driving from Chicago to San Diego, and he couldn't cross from New Mexico over into Arizona. I think he said, I don't know if the highway is called 40, but he said 40 was completely shut down, 80-mile-per-hour winds, snow, and I think he's finally continued on his trip and is heading out that way. But we had more than 1,700 flights canceled due to this severe weather sweeping the country. I haven't really heard if Texas got hit with it, but oftentimes when we have these storms that sweep the country, when you get a cold snap in the south, it winds up shutting down the oil refineries when we see an uptick in gas prices. So again, I haven't really been following Texas, but don't be surprised if you see gas prices tick up a quarter, 50 cents here in the near future. Article from the Economic Collapse blog. The economy is crashing even faster than a lot of experts had anticipated. It's unfolding at a pace that is even more rapid than most of the experts had anticipated. The housing market is crashing. Hordes of retail stores are closing. We talked yesterday about the retail apocalypse, over 800 stores closing. Walmart, Gap, Nordstrom, Macy's, a whole bunch of other stores, Bed Bath & Beyond, Party City. The commercial real estate market is headed for a colossal disaster. We're starting to see big developers and investors default defaulting on their loans for skyscrapers, commercial real estate, office buildings. Food prices continue to surge, and the worst wave of layoffs in more than a decade just continues to get worse. Existing home sales have fallen every month for the last year. Overall existing home sales are a whopping 36.9% lower than they were at this time last year. Home sales down by region. The West is down 42%, Midwest down 33%, South down 37%, and the Northeast down 36%. You know, the Midwest never gets hit quite as hard because the Midwest never really sees these big rises in the housing market. And you know, even though overall homes are pretty unaffordable, I've had my eye on a property. I'm not sure why it isn't selling. I've been looking at maybe buying a property with a big yard, and I saw there's a house in the Chicago suburbs on about a half-acre yard. Nice house, recently remodeled, not huge, maybe 1,000, 1,200 square feet. Has a nice climate-controlled workshop in the back, huge yard. Not the best area, but not the worst area. And I think it's going for like $240,000, $246,000. So it feels, at least to me, and at least in the Midwest, there are still some good deals out there. Most of the good deals I'm seeing are homes that are pretty dated, though. The median price of all types of homes fell for a 7th straight month to $359,900, down 13% from the peak in June. Some of these drops are seasonal. You know, in the wintertime, depending on market, we often see home prices fall 5.5% to maybe 7.5%. You know, a lot of people don't want to move during the colder months. A lot of people with kids don't want to move in the middle of a school year. We've been saying that spring and summer will be very telling which direction the housing market's going to go. But with mortgage rates approaching 7%, that could be bad for the direction. You know, I think if mortgage rates fall, we could see a big uptick in home sales, and the real estate market could recover a little bit heading into summer. But if mortgage rates remain high, you know, I think things are really going to wind up tanking this summer. On Twitter and social media, every realtor is desperately trying to tell people that now is a great time to buy. 2008 was different, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The problem for home affordability lies when prices were going up 30% a year in some markets for 2 or 3 years. Even a 37% pullback only takes back like 1 year of gains, a year and a half of gains. Things still aren't really that affordable. Let's see, Canadian real estate market is now in the deepest correction since the 90s. Prices back to mid-2021. You know, that's kind of nuts. You have the hugest correction since the 90s, and prices still aren't to pre-Mexican beer cough prices. Moody's article, over 3/4 of all metro areas are seeing price declines. At least 10 or 12 different metro areas are in bear market territory. Open Door plans to accelerate home selling in a recovering housing market if the housing market starts to recover in spring or summer. Open Door also finished off Q4 of 2022 with a net loss of $400 million. U.S. home purchase applications drop to a 28-year low as rates rise, and existing home sales drop 31% in the DFW market. Zero Hedge had an article, the most popular stocks among retail investors in 2023, and those were 1, Tesla, 2, SPDR, S&P 500 index, 3, Amazon, 4, NVIDIA, 5, Invesco QQQ, 6, Alphabet, 7, AMD, 8, Meta, 9, Microsoft, and I think I'm missing the 10th, but there's a top 9 at least. You know, I've been saying for a while, I think we very likely could see TikTok banned in 2023. Over 25 states have banned TikTok on government devices. I believe the State Department and military have also banned TikTok on government devices. Several states are suing TikTok over data collection practices and marketing to kids. And now, within the past day, we have the European Commission banning TikTok on staff phones, citing security concerns. We're starting to see like an alliance develop between China and Russia. I believe Xi went over to Russia and met with Putin the other day. You know, so we're going to kind of have this narrative that China, Russia bad, U.S., Europe good. And with Europe now pushing to ban TikTok on government devices, I think China is going to be painted as this evil country who's spying on us, which is true, they are. But I think this will be kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and I think we will see TikTok banned. I was saying sometime in 2023. I wouldn't be shocked to see TikTok banned sometime in the coming months. I got to get running. A couple more stories, but I got to get running. I may or may not see or talk to you guys next week. I'm going to be traveling, but I'll try to get out a video or two. Probably won't have everyday videos. If you guys enjoyed the video today, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button down below. If you're not subscribed subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, and opinions, so drop them below as well. And check out the sponsor of today's video, QuickFixSynthetic.com, linked in the description box below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next video, guys. Later. Peace.